Good morning. My name is Chincy Nelson and I would like to present my thesis on the topic Integrating Education and Community, a Vocational Training Center at Reha. A vocational training is a job-specific technical training which will be very helpful, especially in rural areas where the rate of migration is very high due to low literacy level, low skill level, poverty, lack of employment opportunities, and lack of physical infrastructure. Reha is such an isolated and economically backward village in Gujarat, which was founded by SOS Children's Village Bush under its Model Village program. Reha is rich in culture and tradition, but it lacks some crucial infrastructure facilities. So there is a need to empower the village community by providing a platform for growth and development. So the main aim of the project is to develop the community through vocational training, and spaces like school, primary health center, library, auditorium, shop, internet-based facilities, etc. is also included, so that this vocational training school and bridge course is a part of education and other role is a part of community. So planning that recognize and incorporates these community amenities into school will surely produce better schools, and it will also enhance the community. So what I have done is, first of all, community study to understand the present condition of the village and recognize the lacking facility, and checked over SOS development plan to find out what all interventions can be made. Case studies are taken from different parts of Gujarat as the site is in Gujarat, and then finding out analysis and inferences which lead to the design solution. So first is community study. Reha is 400 years old village which is 16 kilometers away from Bhuj, and it has a desert-like climate with very low rainfall, so that the water table is very low and water sources from government supply pipelines. The village is an earthquake-prone region under seismic zone 5. So bonga is a traditional construction type in Kutch, which is most durable, and it is also appropriate for such type of harsh climate in Gujarat. Reha can be divided into two, Reha Nana and Reha Mota, with a total number of families 566. And from this map itself, we can see that the residential area marked yellow is concentrated to a particular area, and rest is either scrubland or agricultural land. And we can see there is no health infrastructure like a primary health center or hospital in the village. And the closest one is almost 16 kilometers away in Bhuj. And there are 3 schools and 4 Anganwadi center, but the infrastructure facilities are very poor. And the major reason for this high school dropouts is because of this lack of facility for education. When we check the demography, we can see that the people from 18 to 50 years is more, and Reha can be called as an younger village. The main activities of the village are agriculture, animal husbandry, iron knife and weaponry making, and handloom, which includes Bharat and Bandhani work. Darba, Muslim and Harijans are the 3 major communities in which Darba community does the handloom and garment work. Muslim community is specialized in knife making, and Harijans are concentrated in animal husbandry. When we examine, we can see that both this knife making as well as this handloom is in threat of extinction due to several factors, and the major reason is high migration of skilled craftsmen to distant places. So there are 3 main objectives for SOS development plan, and the first one is to develop essential infrastructure such as school, library, primary health center, workshop for craft and weaponry making, recreation area for senior citizens, etc. And second objective is to increase the sustainable livelihood opportunities such as group enterprise of snack items making, iron knife and weaponry making. And third objective is to improve the access and quality services such as bridge courses for dropouts and vocational training for youths. Other than this, there are several proposals under various categories like hygiene, road, education, health, etc. But architectural interventions are only included here. Next, we move on to the site selection and analysis. So site is selected in the residential area near to the best depot, and there is a road connecting this Butch and Kukma in front of the site. So people can easily access the site. And site context includes agricultural land on the northern side, best depot at the east, and Nana Reha playground and some scrubland on the western side, and a residential stretch on the southeastern side. And the site area is approximately 25 acres with slightly contoured land, and soil is sandy loamy. As you can see, the vegetation is less in this area and amount of clearance will be less. And predominant wind is from west from February to October, and from north for 4 months from October to February. Sun path is from east to west tilted towards south, and water source is from government supply pipelines, and site is in earthquake prone region. So next I would like to turn to case studies, and first one is Teshkar Tribal Academy in Vadodara district, Gujarat, designed by architect Karan Grover for Bhasha Research Center. The main reason for selecting was that the project caused a community development for tribal people of Tejkar, their culture, language, etc., and it gave a common ground for them to live, flourish, and inspire. Spaces like library, canteen, workshop, classroom, etc. are provided, and these spaces are arranged in such a manner so that the building responds to the site. It revolves around an old mahua tree, and no trees were cut. These are courtyard spaces and semi-open verandas with bamboo roof, and they provide better social interaction and social growth. Features of local architecture and historic monuments can be seen like self-supporting arches, and brick tralleys are also used, and materials like brick, broken tiles, bamboo, etc. are used. Second one is Hunashala, which is in Bhuj, which was established after 2001 Bhuj earthquake for the reconstruction of their habitat. And it was selected mainly for studying materials and construction techniques, especially in an earthquake-prone region with harsh climate. And it also had a Karikashala, a vocational training center for carpentry, masonry, and walling system. Office space and this carpentry workshops are provided at one site, and the L-shaped Kargashala is provided away from the site. So from this image itself, we can see that the arrangement of spaces is like a street-like pattern from entry, both sides of the street having some facility. And there are some open spaces between built spaces, so there is a good relationship between built and unbuilt. While focusing on materials and construction for walls, compressed stabilized earth blocks are used in some parts, and what will adopt construction techniques, and rammed earth walls can be seen, and these all provided thick walls which maintain a thermal comfort inside room. And in case of roof, bamboo frames and bamboo thatch are used with overhangs to protect from rain and sun. Third case study is Vocational Training Center at Vagaldara, Gujarat. So it consists of a school, vocational training, and also accommodation facilities for students and faculties. And building is designed by architect Falguni Desai. And this project aims at community development for helping tribal people of Vagaldara. It consists of almost 27 courses, 1 year, 2 year, and monthly courses. And mainly the case study was selected to know different courses in vocational training. Internal courtyards and semi-open verandas were provided, and importance was given for landscaping. Exposed brick, bamboo, cement, jalis, etc. were used for construction. Fourth case study is Kami Craft Center at Bhuj, built by Hunashala. The main intention of the project is to revive the regional crafts of Kutch, and the project was selected so that I could study the materials and construction technique, as well as the workshop areas provided for arts and crafts. Spaces are arranged as a street-like pattern according to the wind direction, and there are residential workshop and administrative areas in which workshops are arranged as modules, and each module have a semi-open space at the center, and these modules are mirrored and placed so that they get individual space for each workshop. In case of walls, like we have seen in Hunashala, rammed earth walls, stabilized concrete block and virtual adobe are used. And there is a special feature called a pop sculpted wall, which reduces heat and allows only diffuse light to enter. 2-meter deep strip foundation is used as the soil is very loose. A roof is corrugated sheet and covered with concrete tiling. So from the plan, we can see there is an interrelation between closed and open spaces, and a height variation creates shade and shadows. And as the paths are narrow, they are always shaded. Small openings are provided, and wide overhangs for roofs are provided to withstand the harsh climate. The final case study is Uttarayan Art Center at Jaspur, Gujarat by architect Karan Grover. The artists who visit the center can stay and make sculptures in their allotted space so that it's beneficial for the owner as well as the artist. And the spaces like workshops, canteen, exhibition areas are provided. Site is almost 80 acres and built area is very less, and building blocks are arranged in such a manner so that it is faced towards the river for capturing the view, and natural contour is not much disturbed. And local bricks are used for construction. Jalis and skylights are used for light and also ventilation. Amphitheater and courtyard are used as a gathering space, which is also a social interactive space. So comparing all the case studies, important inferences are, first of all, narrow pathways provide shade and it provide better interaction. There must be a good relationship between built and unbuilt spaces, and too much openness is also not good. Wastewater treatment is very important, especially in a hot and arid climate with a little or no rainfall. Semi-open spaces are preferred rather than closed space for gathering. Use of local materials and construction techniques always perform better. Play of height and volume creates shade and shadow. And finally, courtyards, veranda, jali, skylight, etc. have a major role in maintaining natural light and ventilation. Next is project brief. So community spaces consist of internet-based facility, primary health center, display area, library, auditorium, canteen, retail outlet, and amphitheater. And educational area consists of school, school for dropouts or bridge course, vocational training and workshops. And the school is up to 10th standard, and for vocational training there are two types of course, craft related courses and other professional courses. Now I will focus on the design part. And first question was that how can I create the feeling that it's their own so that it blends with their community and it becomes part of their community? And how can it be beneficial and how can it be earthquake resistant as well? Case studies and site contacts were worth studying and it helped me a lot, especially Hunashala and Kami Crafts and Resource Center. And here are some analysis and inferences which led to the design development. First is about the street pattern of Kuch, which is continuously turning according to the wind direction. So houses along this road reduce the exposure of wall towards the sun and always made cross ventilation happen. Second is the play of heights, which creates shaded spaces throughout the day. And next is the hierarchy of open spaces or volume differences of open spaces in Kuch from house level to village level. A courtyard or semi-open spaces was an important element in each and every house of this region. Use of locally available materials and construction always perform better for such climate. So first of all, the spaces are listed down and it is divided into education and community. And this library, auditorium and canteen are spaces which is common for both the facility, which is arranged in such a manner so that it is accessible for both education and community. From case study and site study inferences, the form was developed. Buildings are given as units rather than single building, and they are one or two storied as they perform better in an earthquake prone region and also in human scale. So these units are arranged like a street with function given on either side and they are continuously turned. Wind is from north and west, so blocks are arranged according to the wind direction. And next is the incorporation of semi-open spaces or courtyards, which creates volume differences of open spaces and varying height according to the sun path, which makes the space shaded throughout the day. And at last, compacting the design so that two large open spaces are avoided and shaded spaces are ensured. So the site is selected in a residential zone of the village near to the best depot, and there is a road connecting Bhuj and Kukma, and these all made a site easily accessible for the users. We can see that the site is relatively flat with less vegetation, so the amount of clearance is very less, and planning can be done in such a way so that we can conserve the existing vegetation. So basically the site is divided into two with a community facility near best depot and residential area and the existing Nana Reha playground near education facility so that it can be connected to the proposed facility. So overall it can be connected to the site contacts with three separate entries to avoid traffic during the peak hours. So it's more like an open facility without compound walls and more like a community facility rather than an institutional facility. Here red indicates educational facilities and blue indicates community facilities with a staggered central spline connecting spaces. And these are the supporting function added and a service road connecting these functions. Retail outlet is provided near best depot so that the products are available from vocational training and a vegetable garden. Here comes the detailed zoning with three main entries and two service entries. First entry is to the educational facility and second one to the primary health center and internet based facilities and the third one is to the retail outlet from the best depot. Natural vegetation act as a barrier against noise. While rainwater harvesting tank and amphitheater is provided on the highest contour, making use of the natural contour, this sewage treatment plant is provided on the lowest contour away from other buildings. Vocational training workshop and this vegetable garden are provided closer for easy access. Next, we move on to the site layout. Parking facility for the visitors is provided near entry 1 and entry 2. Underground rainwater harvesting can be provided so that rainwater can be collected from rooftop and stored without evaporation. Flowering plants and horticultural fruit trees which is suitable for arid areas can be planted for shade, increased water availability and greenery. And outdoor spaces like children's play area, outdoor reading space and recreational areas are always shaded throughout the day. Solar panels are provided for power generation above the vegetable garden on the ground so that it can act as shade for vegetable garden. So here is the ground floor plan of a community facility. From the main entry to the left there is internet-based facilities and to the right there is primary health center with accommodation facility for 3 male and 3 female. And village library consists of an outdoor reading space and there is a display area which highlights their culture and tradition. Here is an auditorium which occupies almost 450 people and toilets are provided common for this canteen, auditorium and library. This is the ground floor plan of education facility which includes school, bridge courses, vocational training and workshops. In all these spaces, we can see that the classrooms are arranged in a staggered manner so that more natural light and ventilation gets inside. And we can see there is an importance for semi-open spaces in the design, like small shaded internal courtyards and wide verandas with bamboo above, which act as gathering spaces. And toilets are placed on the corners of both school and vocational training. And in case of workshop areas which need outdoor connection, such as handloom, handicraft, weaponry making, etc., are provided on the ground floor. First floor is therefore school and vocational training, and we can see semi-open veranda covered with bamboo here and small internal courtyards. So this is a section cutting vocational training center and foundation uses a 2-meter deep rubble foundation because of sandy loamy soil. We can see variations in heights and volumes which provide shade and shadows. And northlight roof are provided with bamboo frames and bamboo thatch. And here is its details. This is a view from amphitheater and view from children's play area. And open spaces are always shaded due to the orientation and play of heights. And semi-open spaces act as gathering space. And the main building materials used is compressed stabilized earth blocks for walls. Earthquake resistance of masonry buildings was focused in special topic. So first of all, buildings were given as units and more suitable and workable materials are given to make it more earthquake resistant. As the soil is sandy loamy, the foundation, 2-meter strip foundation and RCC bands are provided, both horizontal and vertical. And separation joints are provided where there is a turn. And brick trolleys are provided and openings are narrow and far away from each other. Roof is made lightweight with bamboo frames and bamboo thatch roofing.